Hey, so I've never really made this type of video before. I'm just gonna go for it. So today I wanted to talk about something that's been affecting my day-to-day life for a little over a year now. It's called dissociation, also known as depersonalization or derealization. But those all fall under the category of this thing called dissociative disorders. I'll put the Wikipedia page in the description if you want to check out like the technicalities of dissociation and the classifications and all that, because I'm mainly going to focus on my own experiences with dissociation. But in a nutshell, what dissociation is feeling a detachment from yourself and from reality. It's something that I think most people have dealt with at some point in their life, like to some degree. Often dissociation is a reaction to stress or trauma, but sometimes it comes out of nowhere, and that's how it's been for me. I used to experience it just sometimes, like in high stress social situations. It kind of just felt more like social anxiety. And I say I used to have it not because it's gotten better, but because now I experience it all the time. Like, literally all the time. So about a year ago, I snapped into this dissociative state out of nowhere. I was hanging out with a friend, somebody I didn't know super well. I was kind of nervous about hanging out with them, but it wasn't like out of the ordinary. It was nothing too crazy. But sort of towards the end, I just snapped into this really weird, disoriented state. Like nothing felt real at all. Everything felt like it felt like a dream, you know. I went to bed and I expected to feel normal in the morning, but I didn't feel normal in the morning. I felt the same. And then the next day I felt the same, and then it's still here. So I should probably go into the specifics of what it feels like. There's a lot of good analogies out there to describe dissociation. A good one is that you're a passenger in a car and you're watching yourself drive. So you're still aware of your life and what's going on and everything and your own actions as well, but it feels like you are kind of a third party, like a separate entity from your actions and your life. For me, it feels more like I'm playing VR, like I'm kind of controlling myself, but I'm kind of like watching a screen, like a very immersive video game. I'm still doing all the controls and everything, but I'm kind of like watching somebody else do it and hearing myself speak and everything. It's not like an out of body experience, like a third person perspective type of thing. It's still first person. It's just like VR, you know, like a detachment. One of the things that's most affected is my perception of sound. So my own words, my own speech sounds really strange to me. It sounds flat. I didn't realize how to put it until I watched this video by this YouTuber, Noah Knowing. I'll link the channel. And they said it was like they're hearing their voice not through bone conduction, like through our bodies, like we normally do, but only through your ears, if that makes any sense. It's like when you hear a recording of yourself and you're like,
Ooh, do I really sound like that?
that's how it is for me, but all the time. So it's obviously a little off-putting. In fact, all sound is a little less directional than usual. Kind of like depth perception for your ears. So my whole physical awareness is just kind of skewed. It feels really strange. When I move my head, my vision gets kind of blurry, like I'm a little tipsy. But even when I try to focus on one thing, it's still kind of hard to do. Like, stuff kind of moves around or flickers a little bit. It's kind of hard to describe. If I stare at one place for long enough, I get these like grainy visuals. And it really depends on where I am. Like, for example, if I'm indoors, everything feels kind of fuzzy and blurry and kind of small. But if I'm outside, like I've noticed this the most when I'm going for a walk or a hike in nature, especially in the forest. Big open spaces and trees especially, everything seems really big and HD. What is going on over here? So I've kind of been avoiding nature because it just trips me out so much more than anything else, especially being inside. It literally feels like I'm on drugs. My body's kind of tingly, sometimes I get lightheaded. physical sensations feel kind of weird too. Like everything I touch doesn't feel right. Textures are kind of different. Actually, sometimes I'll find something and I'll just feel it for a while because it feels so weird. That's one way to tell if I'm dissociating really hard is I'm just feeling something like my pants. Um, I'd say one feeling that's kind of similar to the overall feeling of dissociation for me is when you wake up at night to go to the bathroom and you technically you know you're awake, but you still feel like you're halfway in a dream. Um, Speaking of which, nothing ever feels real. Everything feels like a dream, um, which sucks big time. I gotta remind myself all the time that I'm awake and that I'm sober. And when I think about that, I realize just how messed up this whole thing is. Um, so it's caused me a lot of social anxiety over the past year because I feel like everything I say isn't as natural as it should be. Feels like I've got to try so much harder than everybody else to just make conversation and like fit into normal situations. After I spend some time by myself, the next conversation I have with someone feels really weird. It feels like I've got to relearn how to socialize for the first time. But I think this all might just be like pretty standard anxiety stuff, like social anxiety. It wasn't until super recently that I kind of learned how to deal with this social anxiety that comes from the dissociation. I've been worrying less about what I say and how I come across because most of the time nobody is like, something's up with this kid, like, you know. Um, Usually I act pretty normal. And it's actually kind of fun when I'm with somebody I'm comfortable with because I can just kind of let myself go. But any other time I still get nervous and super awkward and everything. Because honestly, it still freaks me out like every day. I generally keep myself occupied with like video games or YouTube or music and stuff. Anything to kind of take the focus off of like how weird I feel. Anyway, my main reason for making this video is that I've recently met some people who can relate to the experience that I've been having. It's made me feel a lot less alone and abnormal, which reminded me of some videos I found when I was first researching dissociation. I learned that other people feel the same way that I do, and it made me feel a lot better. I'd say society overall is pretty uneducated about dissociation. Even like psychiatrists and therapists I've been to kind of didn't really know what to do with it or what to make of the situation, which definitely made me feel like a freak. But it was nice to know that other people have the same situation or similar ones. But since doctors can't really do anything, there's actually no real treatment for dissociation, we're kind of just stuck dealing with it. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, it sounds super weird. Just know that it's not just me. There's more of us. We're not crazy. Um, so to anybody else out there who has felt similar, leave a comment and let's talk about it. You're not alone. It took me the better part of a year to come to terms with my dissociation and really kind of get to know it and how it works and how it affects me. So I really want to do my part and help anybody who's struggling with it as well. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Feel free to share it with somebody you think needs to see it. You can subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be putting up more videos at some point, maybe something like this, but I don't know. We'll see. Thanks again, and I wish you luck with whatever you're dealing with right now, mental health-wise, school, work, whatever. Nothing is real. Life is a dream. See ya.